Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video here on Ethereum. Wanted to do a full update, of course, a bit of an emergency update, a bit of a crash update. Not sure how I'm going to call it yet, but it's a pretty dark day for Ethereum here. It's one of the most bearish major altcoins in the markets right now. We had some very high volume here. Volume is up to $36 billion, as you can see, an increase of about 466%. Most of that selling pressure, and right now what you can see if we zoom all the way out is that first of all we have lost the main support at 1750. We knew that was a risk. I thought we had a better chance to actually hold that for a bit longer, but ultimately we have lost that level. But now the main question is all right, well, we hit this major support level. It's a pretty big, like you have this high volume node. I'm going to reduce it. You have this high volume node right here around 1600 and 1550. And right now the main question is going to be for today for Ethereum specifically. And that is dependent on a whole lot of other factors, right? So that is dependent on what Bitcoin does. That is dependent on how US equities open over the course of today. But ultimately for Ethereum specifically, whether we can actually keep some strength or not is dependent a lot on how we react and if we can actually hold, which is still a possibility. I mean, the daily candle still has about 13 and a half hours. It's quite a lot. But whether we're going to be able to hold this level. All right, what you can see if you zoom all the way out again is that this was the point of control of the range we had from May 2022 until November 2023. That's also where you can see where most of the volume is at. So the reaction to this level, like historically, the reaction to a level like this is incredibly important, right? Because let's be optimistic here and say that we get a very strong reaction, so that the daily time frame candle is actually going to be able to close here above 1580. Then technically, even though I do not expect this, and this is not my prediction, but then technically, we actually still, if we get a strong reaction from this POC, we still have a chance to get a breakout here and rally up higher into 2300, which I know at this point of time that sounds delusional, but purely technically that is a possibility. All right, so that's why the reaction to this level is so strong. And if we drop down below this level, like if we get a close below this level, which even on a 12-hour time frame so far we have not done, then that's still bad news. But that's going to be the most important level. I mean, what we see right now is that there's some recovery going on. However, neither for Bitcoin, neither for the futures markets, for US equities, we have seen a clear low time frame break of structure. So for now, I'm going to have to be, for Ethereum, I'm going to have to be on the cautious side, right? And say that we have, or at least on the 4-hour time frame here, we've dropped down below the POC, and that therefore it is most likely we're going to drop down lower, all right? And then I'm talking about this previous value area low into this main support level right here between 1300 and well, let's for now say 1200. But that is that's I think if you take a look at the price action right here and you take this at fair value, there's also no major divergences yet for Ethereum, which is different from Bitcoin. I'd say it's most likely we will reject at the POC and we will drop down lower. That is what I think it's best to be prepared for when looking at Ethereum right now. And then best case scenario, but we'll talk about that a little bit later before the US market opens. Best case scenario, we're able to reclaim that level, right? We're able to reclaim that high volume node right here. And we can actually get a move back up to 1700 and 1800. This is a possibility, but this is reliant on strength in crypto and then also strength in US equities. And at this point of time, that strength is not there. All right, so therefore, I'm telling you, I think something like this is most likely not, well, obviously, or at least most likely not in one big move. But ultimately that this is the direction that seems most likely for now. And then later today I'll be back and we'll see whether it's still most likely or that we can actually see some recovery in financial markets, which could push us towards somewhat of a more sunnier scenario. Those are my thoughts for now. That's all the thing you need to know. If you do have any questions, let me know down in the comments. But for now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.